Your mind feels exhausted before your day even begins, drained silently already. Your phone isn't helping, it quietly steals your focus, energy, and calm. If you feel tired doing nothing, this is why it happens daily.
You wake up each morning already feeling slightly behind, even though nothing has actually happened yet in your day. Before your mind fully clears from sleep, your fingers instinctively reach for the glowing screen beside your bed. The light hits your eyes before sunlight does, forcing your brain into alertness instead of gentle awareness. Notifications stack up like silent demands, each one pulling your attention in a different direction instantly. You tell yourself you are only checking quickly, but minutes disappear without you even noticing. Your nervous system shifts from rest mode into low-level vigilance before your feet touch the floor. You absorb headlines, opinions, messages, and updates that have nothing to do with your immediate reality. Your breathing becomes slightly shallow, not dramatic enough to panic, but enough to create tension. There is no pause between sleep and stimulation anymore, just a sudden jump into information overload. Instead of beginning your day grounded, you begin it reacting to things outside your control. Your mind starts comparing your quiet morning to someone else's curated highlight reel online. Even if you do not consciously feel insecure, your brain registers subtle social pressure instantly. That invisible pressure lingers quietly in your chest as you move through your routine. By the time you brush your teeth, your thoughts are already scattered across multiple conversations. You have not spoken to anyone in person, yet your mental energy feels partially spent. There is no silence left in your mornings, only consumption disguised as harmless habit. You carry that overstimulation into work, into conversations, into every small decision ahead. You cannot explain why the day feels heavy before it even properly begins. What feels like a normal routine is actually training your brain to expect constant urgency, and that expectation quietly steals the calm your mind desperately needs to function clearly. You sit down telling yourself you deserve a small break, believing scrolling will help you relax. Your thumb moves automatically, almost faster than your conscious mind can keep up with. Each swipe delivers something new, something emotional, something designed to capture your attention instantly. You laugh at one video, then immediately feel slightly inadequate watching someone else's achievements. Your brain shifts emotional states repeatedly within seconds, without giving you time to process anything fully. You are not just watching content, you're absorbing micro-comparisons over and over again. Your mind measures your life against strangers without asking for your permission first. Even inspirational content quietly implies you should be doing more than you currently are. You feel motivated briefly, then strangely drained moments later for reasons you cannot explain. The constant novelty creates small dopamine spikes that your brain begins to crave subconsciously. When stimulation slows down, boredom suddenly feels heavier than it ever used to feel. Real life starts seeming slower than the fast rhythm of your screen. Conversations feel long because they cannot compete with algorithmic intensity anymore. Silence feels uncomfortable because your brain expects another quick hit of novelty. You keep scrolling not because you enjoy it deeply, but because stopping feels empty. That emptiness is not laziness, it is withdrawal from constant digital stimulation. Your brain has been trained to expect rapid reward, not gradual fulfillment. When you finally put the phone down, you feel strangely restless instead of refreshed. You cannot point to one exhausting moment, yet your mind feels undeniably crowded. And that quiet mental crowding slowly turns into the fatigue you carry every night. You sit down to concentrate on something important, but your attention feels thinner than it once was. Within minutes, your mind searches for escape, craving stimulation that feels easier than effort. The task itself is not impossible, yet it suddenly feels heavier than it logically should. You reread sentences because your thoughts drift away before they fully register meaning. Your brain keeps anticipating a notification even when your phone is face down. That anticipation alone creates subtle tension that interrupts deep concentration repeatedly. You start doubting your discipline, wondering why focus feels harder than it used to feel. You blame yourself quietly, assuming you have become less motivated or less driven. But the real issue is conditioning, not character weakness or lack of ambition. Your brain has adapted to rapid input, making sustained attention feel unfamiliar now. Deep thinking requires stillness, and stillness feels uncomfortable to your nervous system. You notice yourself checking your phone without even remembering deciding to check it. That automatic behavior chips away at your confidence in your own self-control. Over time, you begin associating work with frustration instead of purpose or creativity. You miss the version of yourself who could sit with one idea for hours peacefully. Now even 30 focused minutes can feel like pushing against invisible resistance. That resistance is not failure, it is overstimulation demanding another quick reward. The more you escape into distraction, the weaker your focus muscle becomes gradually. And as focus weakens, your belief in yourself quietly weakens alongside it. That silent erosion of confidence is one of the deepest costs of digital burnout. You are not having panic attacks, yet your body rarely feels completely calm anymore. There is a quiet background tension humming beneath your thoughts throughout the entire day. Even during rest, your nervous system feels slightly alert, like something might happen suddenly. You checked your phone with no notifications just to confirm nothing important was missed. That small checking habit reinforces the belief that you must stay constantly available. Availability slowly becomes pressure, and pressure becomes low-level chronic anxiety over time. Your shoulders stay tight longer than they used to without you consciously noticing. Your breathing becomes shallow during simple moments that once felt effortless and relaxed. You feel mildly restless when sitting still without any external stimulation nearby. Silence begins to feel uncomfortable instead of peaceful or grounding. Your brain expects interruption, so calm moments feel unnatural and slightly uneasy. You struggle to fully disconnect because part of you anticipates incoming information constantly. This anticipation drains energy even when nothing is actually happening around you. You might call it stress, but it feels too subtle to fully acknowledge. You might call it normal because everyone around you seems similar. Yet deep inside, you remember a time when your mind felt lighter. Back then, rest actually felt like rest instead of a temporary pause. Now, even relaxation feels incomplete without a screen nearby for comfort. Your nervous system never receives the clear signal that it is safe to power down, and without that safety, true recovery becomes almost impossible to experience fully. You scroll through curated lives that appear more exciting, successful, and fulfilled than your own. Your brain doesn't see editing, filters, or selective storytelling behind those images. It simply registers difference and quietly measures your progress against theirs. You tell yourself you are happy for them, yet something inside feels slightly smaller. Their achievements make your normal day seem less impressive than it actually is. Even milestones you once celebrated now feel ordinary compared to online highlights. You begin setting higher expectations for yourself without realizing where they originated. Those expectations feel personal, but many were planted by repeated exposure. The more you consume, the more your baseline for success subtly shifts upward. Suddenly, your steady growth feels slow, even though nothing about it truly changed. You feel pressure to improve faster, earn more, achieve sooner than before. That pressure doesn't always motivate you, sometimes it simply exhausts you deeply. Instead of inspiration, you experience quiet self-criticism that follows you offline. You start doubting whether you are doing enough with your time. Moments that should feel peaceful become opportunities to question your productivity. Your worth becomes loosely tied to output instead of inherent value. You rarely notice when this shift begins, but you feel its weight eventually. The constant measuring steals joy from progress that once felt meaningful. And when joy disappears, even achievement cannot fully satisfy you anymore. That emotional erosion is one of the hidden consequences of endless comparison.
You lie in bed exhausted, yet your mind refuses to slow down naturally. The room is dark, but your screen lights your face with artificial brightness. You promise yourself 5 more minutes, knowing it will likely become 30. Scrolling feels easier than sitting alone with the thoughts you avoided all day. Your brain continues absorbing stimulation long after your body signals it needs sleep. Each new piece of content delays the moment of genuine mental quiet. When you finally put the phone down, your thoughts feel louder than before. Images and conversations replay in your mind as you try closing your eyes. Sleep becomes something you chase instead of something that gently arrives. Your nervous system struggles to transition from stimulation into deep rest smoothly. You wake up feeling like you never fully powered down overnight. The cycle repeats because exhaustion pushes you back toward easy distraction again. You use stimulation to cope with fatigue caused by stimulation itself. Days blur together without clear mental separation between effort and recovery. You cannot remember the last time your mind felt completely still. Even dreams sometimes feel like extensions of unfinished mental processing. Your brain is overloaded, yet you continue feeding it more information. Not because you are weak, but because the habit feels comforting temporarily. Comfort without restoration slowly turns into dependence without fulfillment, and over time that pattern deepens the burnout you struggle to explain. You notice that things which once excited you now feel slightly muted. Achievements bring satisfaction, but the feeling fades faster than it used to. Conversations feel engaging, yet yet part of your attention drifts elsewhere automatically. Your emotional responses become shorter, less intense, harder to sustain naturally. It is not sadness exactly, but it is not full joy either. You feel like you are present yet not fully immersed in moments. Your mind searches for the next stimulus even during meaningful experiences. You struggle to sit deeply inside one feeling without distraction interrupting it. This creates a subtle emotional flattening that is difficult to articulate. You wonder if you are becoming less passionate about life overall. But passion requires attention, and attention has been fragmented repeatedly. When focus is divided, emotion cannot root itself deeply inside you. You move from moment to moment without fully absorbing any of them. Memories feel thinner because you were never entirely there mentally. You begin craving stronger stimulation just to feel something intense again. That craving pushes you further into digital environments designed for impact. Yet high stimulation does not equal meaningful emotional fulfillment long term. It only raises the threshold for what feels engaging enough to matter. The more intense your inputs become, the harder simple life feels emotionally, and slowly numbness replaces the depth you once carried naturally. One evening you pause and feel an unfamiliar heaviness behind your eyes. Not physical pain, but a mental fog that makes everything feel slightly distant. You try to remember when you last felt deeply clear-headed and grounded. The answer does not come easily, which unsettles you quietly. You realize your mind has been busy for months without real interruption. Every spare second was filled with noise, updates, or external opinions. You cannot recall the last full day without digital consumption. There was always something to check, something to scroll, something to absorb. Your brain has not experienced sustained silence in a long time. You begin understanding that exhaustion is not about workload alone. It is about never allowing your nervous system to reset completely. You see how small habits compounding into constant overstimulation gradually. No single moment caused it, but repetition built the fatigue steadily. You do not feel dramatic breakdown, just deep ongoing depletion. That depletion explains why motivation feels harder to access recently. It explains why focus weakened and comparison intensified quietly. It explains why rest never fully restores your energy anymore. For the first time, you consider that the device is not neutral. It is powerful, helpful, but also capable of overwhelming your biology. And recognizing that truth becomes the first step toward reclaiming clarity. If you enjoyed this video, please like my channel, Mr. Shawnee Psych, and share your thoughts in the comments about what you liked. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll do my best to reply as quickly as I can.